Good morning, everybody. I hope you had a nice weekend. It's Monday, and I'm again in my first live trade this morning on the pound dollar, the cable, and you can see I'm already in profit here. Almost, let's see, we have 36 pips. I am aiming here for 40 pips or more, and it's very close to it, so that I want to set here a trailer with MetaGrid that starts at 400 ticks. It's 40 pips, and then let's say it should trail 6.5 pips behind the price. Maybe we see during this live broadcast, during this live stream, that it reached here the 40 pips, and that we then can see the trailer starting, and then we could see how far this trade comes. I hope it retests here the lower end of this demand zone here. Maybe with the trailer it can come to the end of this yellow demand zone. If you look back on the history of this pair, you see that it already tested here this demand zone on Friday. So it came back all the way down to our double demand zone. The yellow box is a H4 demand zone, the white one is a H1 demand zone, and here on exactly on the upper end of this white box, the candle bounced here. It bounced then again on a M15 supply zone, and now this two boxes seems not to hold a second time. I hope it will not hold. Then if you look far more back on the history of this pair, you see that it bounced here on this red trend line. It's a daily trend line, and here is again the lower daily trend line, which acts as support. And if it bounced here, my hope is that it will all go all the way down here to this red line. It will then bounce again here, and then maybe we see the next days and even weeks that it will bounce between these two red lines. It's possible, and if this plan works, then it should go today here more in this area here. And so my hope is that the demand zone will not hold here for this pair, and that we can reach here the 40 pips, and with 40 pips the trailer starts, and then we will see how far it comes. I made a really small trailer with 6.5 pips behind the price, because of course I want then to have the profit quickly. We will see if this happens during this live stream today. It's also possible that it here begins to bounce on this demand zone again. This is always possible. It's a risky trade. Demand zones can act as a really strong support here, and I am trading against these support zones. And you can also see here the green line. It's a buy order block, and in front of this buy order block it begins here at the moment to bounce. So I have to wait what happens here. Of course, if I see here a bounce on this double demand zone, and then that the price goes back to my entry here, then I will close this trade for break even, because it's such a risky trade. I don't want to risk here that it goes completely against me, which is also possible because it's really a really strong demand zone here with this H4 and H1 on the same place, and a lot of order blocks here. But sometimes you have to risk a little bit, and price was really going nicely down the last hours, but maybe it found here now its end here. We will see. As always, I planned to make this live stream maybe max 30 minutes, and then if the price has not reached here this 40 pips move, then I will give you an update on my Telegram channel And by the way, the trade on Friday, you saw it maybe, did not reach the 100 pips, which I hoped. I had closed it then with 75 pips on Friday, which is also good. So now it goes a little bit more down. We are 6 pips away from my trailer goal, where the trailer would start. I switch at the moment not to another pair because it's very interesting here. If the price does not want to go lower, then we can look at some other charts, and I can give you some trading ideas for the first trading day in this new week. It's still summertime and some pairs are not moving very much. I think in September and October we will see again more movement on the most pairs than during the end of the year. Summer and holiday is always difficult for trading, but still there were a lot of movements on some pairs, but not on all days. Again, now you can see it bounces here. The demand zone is very strong here. Maybe this trade ID will not work. But the worst thing which can happen is that we get here a break-even trade. I can already set my stop loss for this. So let's say here is so that we can at least get some money. Let's say for around €5 here. This is my break even then, in the case that it really bounces here quickly, that I can get some pips of this trade. It's like on Friday, it's on a critical place here. It depends if more sellers step into this pair, then I think it's possible that it tests here the lower end of this wide demand zone. But if the buyers gets here stronger, then maybe it goes higher, and then the next target for people who are in a buy trades is this zone here. We have here also a double supply zone. We have a small M15 supply zone and a really small H1 supply zone, and in front of this a really big sell order block. So in this area we should see, at least in case that it bounces here, we should see at least some movement down again. So in case that this pair turns during the day into a buy trade, then you could go here as target 1 for this area. Maybe here the lower end of this small green supply box here. Let's look on some other pairs. I check regularly for what the price is doing here. We can go through some pairs with our random button, that we can randomly check some pairs. For example, we here on the pound yen. I added to my chart the MetaGrid Trade Manager, which shows the order blocks and the automatically painted trend lines. And I added to the charts the MetaGrid Supply and Demand Indicator. And here on the daily chart on the pound yen, if we zoom in, you can see that we had really nice bounces here on the weekly trend line. This one, the purple one, is the weekly trend line, and here is the lower one. And maybe the next days the price wants to test here this H4 demand zone, or even here this lower trend line, the weekly trend line. Let's see how much room this has at the moment. Over 200 pips possible here, and you can see the daily candle on Friday here is on a sell order block, a stronger one, and from this on it bounced so far and is now let's see, it is now in front of a strong buy order block here. This is how it looks on the daily time frame. Let's check on the H4. Here you can better see that it bounced here exactly on this buy order block, on this strong one. It already bounced here from the end of this order block to now 17 pips. And here you can see the H4 demand zone we saw on the daily time frame, and here on the lower time frame the indicator paints also the H1 demand zones, and you can see that here is also a moving average here in this area, and we are here below the bank sell level. So if the price came through this buy order block here, then it's a good idea to trade today, or to go in a sell trade, and you would aim as a target here this area here where it began here on August 2nd to push up here. So it's possible that the traders want to retest here this demand area where it began, this up move here where the up move began, and then you could here, if you go in a sell trade, aim here for the target, but you should wait maybe on a lower time frame like the M15 that it here really comes below here this buy order block, and then it should retest a little bit the order block again, and then it should go more down. And if you have this price action, then you could here go for this zone here below. Let's look back on our trade. We are, let's see, 3 pips away from the zone where the trailer should start with 40 pips. So the pound seems today so far a little bit weak, which we also saw here on the pound yen chart. It goes down since the beginning of this new trading week here. It's always exciting to watch here what happens on the pair. This is what I love so much on trading, that you have a trading ID, and then you watch if this happens. You should never be angry if you trade, even if your trading ID does not work and suddenly it goes against you. Then the trading ID was obviously not the best one, but you should always see this a little bit as fun, and you should be excited for every trade you did. And we are now 2 pips away from the 40 pips goal. Maybe we see the trailer start soon. We need 2 more pips that the trailer starts automatically from MetaGrid, and then I let the pair do what it wants to do. It can then bounce on the trailer, and then the trade will be closed. Or maybe if it pushes more down, then we see some more pips. I like to set a trailer very often instead of a target. If you have a fixed target, okay, then you know there you have your money and profit is banked. But with the trailer, you have room that the price maybe goes a little bit more than your target. And as we here on the H1 time frame, I decided to set the trailer that way that it only trades a little bit more than 6 pips behind the price. So now the trailer started. You can see now the trade will definitely make good profit, and now it depends how far this pair will travel down. If it now again bounces here on this green buy order block, it will end here on the trailer, and then it makes around 40 pips. Or if it now goes faster down, maybe to this white end of this demand box, I get even a little bit more than 40 pips. this gets interesting, and I'm happy that the first trade of this new trading week is already a nice winner here. And with this trailer you could also go away from your screen, you set your trailer, and you see it trails very nicely behind the price. And now we get even a little bit, maybe more pips than we wanted. We're already 44 pips in profit now. You can see this here on the information. The alert you see her in the background is from another indicator I'm testing at the moment. It's a really annoying indicator because it gives alerts sometimes every second. So maybe it really bounces then here on the white box or on the yellow one. Best case scenario is that it goes down until this yellow line without bouncing back 6 pips, but because if it bounces back 6 pips it will end here on my trailer. But even then I have around 40 pips profit here, which is very good. And you can see in this example again that if you make if you learn how to use the different information MetaGrid and supply and demand indicator gives you, that you get really nice trading ideas even on the first moments of the new trading week. I opened this trade 1 or let's see 3 or 4 hours after the market was opened again. In the night I saw this night chart picture here, and then I decided to open this first trade during the night, during the Asia session. It's night here in Europe. It depends where you live. Maybe it was morning for you when I opened this trade here, but it was night here. It was the time before I was going to sleep. I checked the charts again, and then I saw this nice trade, and you can see the trailer still is behind our price. We're already almost on 50 pips here. This is the most exciting part of a trade, if it is secured and the trailer is behind, and you can only win now. There's no way that you lose your trade. With every pip the price moves more in your direction, you get more money. I would not enter this trade now. If you think, okay, you go maybe for a sell trade 2 at the moment, I think that we see the next hour or hours again a little pullback in the upside direction. So if you want to enter this trade, it's too late. It's only the last pips we see here, which it travels here. Maybe it began here to bounce a little bit, or I would say at least it begins to bounce here on this daily trend line, and then the next bouncing areas are here. You can see this is the bank's buy level, where we expect that the sellers would use at a bigger profit target for this day. This buy level moves during the day. This is not a fixed target. It depends on the market structure and how far price already traveled. And then this bank's buy level moves during the day always closer to the candle. And if the candle touches here the buy level, the bank's buy level, then this line will not move anymore during the day. Then it stays on this place where the candle touched the buy level. And then you know, and the color changes, then it gets red, this line, and then you know now there's a level reached where it's maybe good to close the sell trade if you are in a sell trade, and you can then look for possible buy scalping trades. Now the candle sits exactly on the end of this white demand box here. The trailer is still here behind the price. You can see it's overlaid here by this green buy order block, but you see here the white line, the trailer is still active and trails our trade until the candle bounces here on this trailer. And this is very important for MetaGrid, the trade manager, because MetaGrid only closes this trade when the candle really touches this trailer line, not a spread. If the broker changes the spread and makes the spread bigger, if you use the internal trail function of MT4, the spread would close your trade, but MetaGrid only reacts to the candle. So only if the candle really touches our trailer, then MetaGrid closes this trade. If the broker plays around with the spread, MetaGrid ignores this completely. We are now over 50 pips in profit already. 40 pips was my goal, and now we have already 10 more, and it still goes down. The trailer is behind the price. I'm very happy for this first nice trade here. What I do, by the way, is that I always on Saturday or Sunday I use the profit from the day, and then I make a withdraw on my broker and withdraw the money. And I do it normally always that way, that on my broker account is on Monday around 500 euros, and the profit from the week I withdraw. So for example, last week you saw two trades for me around with 100 euro profit. I took this profit on the weekend, I withdrawed it, and that then on the account, on the balance of my trading account is back to 500 euros. I have two live accounts for my manual trading. On both I have on Monday 500 euros, and then I begin to use these two live accounts for manual trading, and we are aiming for maybe 60 pips. We will see it. It's very close now to the daily trend line. I think that then it begins to bounce and will hit our trailer, but you never know, maybe it goes a little bit more below our daily trend line. We will see that. You should never see all this line as fixed lines and that you say it must bounce here, there can nothing else happen. No, this is only what so far technically can be seen on this pair, but you never know what the traders do and what in this case the sellers do. If they are really strong, of course it can happen that this trend line will break, but this gives us another information. If this daily trend line does not hold, then the sellers are really strong, and then we would wait on a lower time frame that we get a retest of this daily trend line. In case it was broken, we wait for a retest, and then we would aim for the next target, which is here then this buy order block. This is a way where you can maybe get a trade today if you watch this pair, and if it really clearly breaks here this daily trend line, then you would wait for a retest here, and then if it begins to go down again after this retest, then you could go here for this buy order block, and let's see, around here it would give 25 pips move. Maybe you should aim for 20 pips then. And now you can already see it begins here to bounce in front of this daily trend line. I think it could end here with more than 50 pips in profit. We will see how strong the sellers stay here, if they can manage to break this daily trend line. My thinking is that it will here around the daily trend line bounces. We have 9 minutes to go for this candle. It's a 1 hour time frame, as you can see, and this hour still goes 9 minutes, and maybe after this 9 minutes, if the next candle begins, we will see then maybe a green candle here. There are a lot of automatic traders and the market, and some of this trading mechanics works that way that at the end of an hour they close the trade, especially if you see such a really nice red candle, and if you have such a trade method and automatically coded, that it then closes the trade if the hourly candle ends. Then we will see maybe again a green candle. That now, after this really nice move, a lot of traders like me take profit, and then we will see a little green candle maybe. Or the seller stays still strong, breaks then this daily trend line, and then it gives maybe the chance for you to go into a sell trade on this pair too. We are around 60 pips, almost 60 pips now, and at the beginning of this live stream my goal was 40 pips, as you remember, and you see with the help of this trailer you can make more money. With a fixed target of 40 pips, I had only now 40 pips, the trade would be already closed, but with the help of this trailer I get now more money. And this is this is the advice which I can give you. Use instead of a fixed target a trailer. It depends a little bit on the price action and on what you are aiming for. You saw it on Friday that I had a fixed target in this case, because 100 pips is really a long distance, and even it did not reach it, and for this reason I used a fixed target because I wanted to have this 100 pips. And on this day, on Friday, we saw a lot of spikes, and then the trailer would have stopped out really fast and quickly if it had reached this 100 pips maybe. So this was the reason for fixed target. But on such a day where we have a really smooth movement of the price, it's always good to use a trailer, because you never know how far it can go. Let's switch on the pound yen. You can see it broke now the buy order block. The first bounce was there on the buy order block, and now it also broke here the buy order block, and it's also aiming here for the daily trend line on the pound yen. We have here the same situation like on my pair, that it is in front of a daily trend line, and the same on pound yen. If the sellers manage here to break here this daily trend line, let's say price goes down, then you would wait that the price retests here again this daily trend line, and then if you see a nice red powerful price action candle, then you would open a sell trade, and then you could aim here for this demand zone here in this case. And if you see that the price begins here to bounce on this daily trend line and it makes powerful green candles, then the first target would be here this sell area, the supply zone. The next one is then here, supply zone, and then at least here you should close the trade if it comes that far. So we have trading opportunities for you during the day. You should watch both pairs today, and you should look for price action, because it's very hard to predict what price can or will do. I'm checking if there are any questions on the live chat on YouTube. I have the question where I'm located. I'm from Germany, so it's here my time 11 a.m. almost, so in 4 minutes I have here 11 a.m. So it's the classical European trading session I am in here, and still the trade runs here. The trailer moves again a little bit. You can see the price moved some more pips in profit, and then the trailer of course moves too, and in 4 minutes this hourly candle will be closed, and then the next candle develops, and then we will see if sellers stay strong. I make this live stream until this trade is closed now, that you can see the whole process, that you can see how far this trade came and when MetaGrid closes this trade. If you have any more questions, you can use the YouTube live chat function, and you can also check my website metagrid.com. There you find the MetaGrid Trade Manager, which can all this do for you. You find the supply and demand indicator, the multi-time frame supply and demand indicator, which paints here these boxes. And you saw you got today firstly this nice bounce trade on the demand zone. If you have the indicator already and you watched maybe early today, at this time I was sleeping, and sorry, not sleeping, this was on Friday, sorry. You can see this was on Friday. You got here the first bounce on Friday. Then you got here the next bounce, and then we have now today this nice trade, because my opinion was that this demand zone will not hold, like I explained to you at the beginning of this live stream, because of the price action. You see it made lower highs. This is a lower high here based to this one. This is a lower high based to this one and this one. This is a lower high, and so my opinion was that the price is going more down, and this demand zone will not hold a second test. This was the first retest of the demand zone. It did hold, gave you here this nice bounce trade, but you see already it came not that far. It bounced in here. It made a double top here. This is the first and this is the second of this double top, and from there on it was going down again. And this was the main reasons why I thought this demand zone will not hold a second test. And it was the right decision here so far. But you can see it bounced here now on the daily trend line, like I told you, and the new candle now begins, and the trailer stopped here my trade. It bounced more than 6 pips on this daily trend line, and we had a trailer set the way that it should close the trade if we get here a bounce of more than 6 pips. And this is the reason now the trade has been closed. It was very nice. So I started with 500 euros on this live account on Monday, like I explained to you some minutes ago. So the first more than 50 euros are banked for the today, and I don't think that I will go into another trade today if I have such a nice winner. My manual trading is done for the day, because I have, of course, running some EAs on other live accounts, and my manual trading, it takes a lot of time. If you do manual trading, you have to analyze the chart and see what's going on, and normally I do this for one trade a day, sometimes even only 2 or 3 manual trades a week. Last week I had only 2 manual taken trades, or taken by myself, and both I recorded on the live stream. If I have the time, I go live and show you these trades, and not every time it will give a winner. Sometimes you will also see a loser. But like I told you, at the moment, really the next candle develops now, and it sits exactly here on the daily trend line. And what you can do now is to watch the next hour and hours what happens. You can see now it begins to go green here a bit, because it really is here sitting on the daily trend line. Let's see on the pound yen, the same picture here. It bounced exactly on the daily trend line, and this is always what I love on the MetaGrid trading system, that these trend lines are so helpful for trading, to find the optimal targets and to find the optimal entries. That's it for the day. That was my live stream. I hope you liked it, enjoyed to watch this trade, how it developed, and when the trailer started, and then we could take home some money for the day. I gave you some trade IDs for this pair during the day, and for this pair, the pound yen. You should both watch and wait for price action. Maybe there is more to come on the sell side, but at the moment we see here, like I told you, a bounce here on this area. How strong this bounce will be, you have to watch now. Maybe you see more sell opportunities, or if the buyers gets now stronger at the end of this demand zone and under the daily trend line, maybe you can find, with the help of price action, some buy trade. Have a nice Monday. I'm back soon, and if you have more questions, you can also use the email support@metagrid.com. It's support@metagrid.com. You can also leave some comments right below. I try to answer them if you have them.